What underpins any business activity is the need to pay the bills and be profitable. Increasing profits in line or above inflation is the only realistic way of staying in business. There are 3 ways to increase profits and stay ahead of the game: increase sales, increase margins without losing sales, and reduce costs. In the previous training films, we talked about a variety of ways to increase sales through, for example, marketing, layout, range, and in-store promotions. However, a fundamental aspect that makes people come back is customer service. A local shop's unique selling point is they're convenient and they offer great personal experience.
They're very helpful, very pleasant, and they're open long hours.
The people who run it are amazing. They'll do anything for anyone.
Friendly lot here. You get on. I get a school bus in the morning, and they let us in the morning just to stand there just in case it's raining.
Supermarkets know that their customers demand great service. They spend a great deal of effort and time ensuring that their staff are in a position to deliver it. Village shopkeepers, by and large, know that this is important to their customers as well. What they are less good at times is ensuring that their staff are able to provide customers with exactly what they want, particularly when the manager or the owner isn't in the shop.
We follow a Londis induction training programme, and that will be everything from customer service through to health and safety. Once they've joined and had their induction, they will get annual training. If we had any problems with anyone, we wouldn't leave it for a year to refresh. It would be an ongoing thing anyway.
The store looks good, sales are up, and staff are doing a great job. However, it can still be difficult to pay the bills. If so, profit margins need looking at more closely. The commonly coined phrase, "turnover is vanity, profit is sanity," says it all. Profit margins in the sector are tight, and what's achievable can vary a fair amount depending on catchment and competition.
Profit margin is obviously important to all forms of retailing. It varies quite considerably between different types of shop. For typical rural convenience stores, it usually falls between about 18% and 25% at the gross profit level, falling to perhaps 5 or 10% at the net level after expenses. The usual reason for the difference between different shops is the mix of merchandise they sell. So if, for example, you're selling a lot of tobacco at very low margins, then this will obviously affect the overall figure. Conversely, if you're selling a lot of fresh produce and items such as greetings cards, it'll be towards the higher end of the spectrum. In addition, retailers can alter their profit margin by things that are much more within their control, such as how well they buy, how well they control wastage, pilferage, and indeed other factors along those lines. Pricing is obviously a key factor in deciding what the gross margin will turn out to be. If the gross margin is too high, then possibly prices are too high and putting customers off. Conversely, it's quite important not to undersell stock and therefore end up with a gross profit margin too low for your type of business.
Retailers use a variety of different methods for pricing. Some use a cost price plus markup method, whilst others will add a few pence on to a manufacturer's recommended retail price, helping improve profitability. Cigarettes are typically a prime example, where tickling up prices by a few pence is easier than using a markup method. Comparing prices with similar independent businesses in your area is important to help you set a sensible pricing structure for your store. Don't get too hung up on the prices in supermarkets unless you strongly feel they're in direct competition. It's more sensible to make comparisons with similar stores to yours, whether they're independently owned or owned by a large retail chain. And remember, convenience stores run by retail chains will be charging a premium on many of their ranges too. Whether you're in a price-sensitive trading position or have a relative monopoly, getting pricing and profit right is vital to the success of any retail business. So it's imperative retailers and staff understand the difference between margin and markup and how it affects profitability. It's sensible to adopt a pricing policy which details the typical profit margin the business would like to achieve across each category area, setting out clearly what method of pricing is suitable, ensuring owners and staff are hitting the right level. Obviously, the other opportunity to improve profit levels is to buy in more competitively. Shopping around and regularly renegotiating terms with suppliers is important. Just an extra 1 to 2% gross profit can make a real difference to the viability of your business.
Village shops are increasingly being used by their customers as convenience stores rather than as a source of their main grocery shop. And this means adapting the displays, adapting the product categories to meet that new demand. In this case, the shop has a great display of sauces and other ways of producing a quick meal of an evening. So customers coming home from work, everything they need ready and waiting for them. In this particular case, the display is colour-coded with shelf-edge strip designating the nationality of the foods on display. A neat little trick that other shops could copy.
New ranges and services can be a great income generator. Progressive retailers tend to stay in the marketplace for longer because they constantly look at new ideas and ranges. But every product must earn its keep. Retailers need to fully consider why they are introducing a new product or service and ensure it's because customers want it, it generates profit, or it generates footfall, not just because it's nice to have. Following trends and the next high profit generator isn't always enough to stay in business. So some village retailers diversify to maintain a healthy balance sheet.
We're lucky we got funding from the RDPE, which is the Rural Development Programme for this area. They're in conjunction with the ANOB, so it's enabled us to put the cafe on, but also sort of widen the range that we do in the shop, because we can diversify what we create in the cafe, we can sell in the shop, and we can use things from the shop that actually we create more in the cafe, so it's a really good crossover.
Diversification, for example, adding a cafe or catering services to the business, is one way to stay sustainable.
Shops need to be sustainable and viable for the future. Sustainability is often thought of in environmental terms, and that is one aspect, but also there's economic sustainability and also a social sustainability. Village retailers need to be progressive and think about their ranging, what new opportunities there are to survive into the future.
We're surrounded by some great local producers. We want to reflect that in our store. We've got a good market for local foods, and I think with recent food scares as well, and the importance of traceability, it's more and more important to people now to know where their foods come from.
It gives us a point of difference from the supermarkets. I think they play lip service to stocking local products, but we really do. It means that we're dealing with small suppliers the whole time, and suppliers the same size as us, and that works extremely well for us. You don't feel as though you're a small fish in a big pond, everyone's dealing at the same level.
Local food is really important. I try and support local producers as much as possible.
I always look for the local brand, actually, and there's some wonderful things, like even salad dressings made in Semley, just 3 miles away.
With increasing energy bills, it's important to minimise consumption and consider using renewable energy.
At one stage, our electricity bill was £800 a month, and we just realised that this couldn't go on. So, although a significant investment, what we did was we replaced all our chillers with 2 large integrated chillers with external compressors. Now, our electricity bill is now between £550 and £600 a month. So firstly, there's been a significant savings on energy, but also aesthetically, it's a far better fit, far more professional, and we found that our chilled sales last year grew by about 20%. Now, we'd calculated a payback of 5 years for these chillers, and I would say that we probably have done it now in 2.5 years.
Whether retailers are looking at exploiting new trends and opportunities, diversifying into new sectors, increasing range of local food, or reducing the store's environmental impact, any steps taken forward will be in the right direction to a more sustainable future for village retailing.
We've now come to the end of our training series, and we hope you've enjoyed the films. You won't be able to implement all the tips and suggestions that we've offered, but hopefully you can take something away with you to drive your business forward. Village shops are an important part of village life, and the more that you thrive, the better they will thrive.
For more details on the Store is the Core programme, visit storeisthecore.org.uk.